Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. We're just going to take a quick gander here into looking at BitDigital. They're turning off quite a bit of miners. We're going to take a look at why that is. We're also going to take a look at the December production update, which is kind of why we're figuring out that they're turning off miners. So we'll look at that. We also have DMG 2023 guidance update. It's a decrease from what they were expecting. We'll take a look at it also, but the numbers are looking pretty good for them as far as efficiency goes and Bitcoin's mined. They have been improving on it, so we'll look at that. Markets update, we'll just do a quick one. It's middle of the day right now, so we'll look at the S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, see where they're going along with the miners really quick, and we'll get into the main stories here, okay? So as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. I'm invested in following coins and companies for full disclosure. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. And let's take a look at the markets here really quick. So S&P is up right now during midday at 2.26% up. Dow Jones is up 2.05% and NASDAQ is up 2.42%. Bitcoin's up 0.2%. Ethereum is up 1.35%. We'll see if this is actually going to hold for the day, if we're going to be able to squeeze out a green day. And then we got the miners. Miners are kind of a mixed bag. You can see Annie is down 3.7%. Argo is down 13.13%. BitDigital is down 5.5%. Bitfarms is up barely half a point. CleanSpark is down 0.93, Cores is up 5.47, DigiHost is up 2.78, DMG is up 902, Greenwich is down 6.33, Hive is down 1.69, Hut is down 0.99, Iris is down 3.41, and then Marathon is actually up 3.32%, Mawson's up 3.29%, Riot is up 0.95%, and Soluna is down 1.12, followed with TerraWolf down 5.37%. So it's a mixed day in the miners. We'll see how the day finishes up later on today. We'll probably do a video on it either today or tomorrow. Got two more videos coming up today. We have also Hut 8 to discuss. It's kind of getting a little messy over there for them. And then we have the Bitcoins, the cost to mine one Bitcoin for Q3 on the miners. It's taking me a lot longer to get the information because we've been waiting at some of the miners. But nonetheless, let's take a look at the first story here that we do have. And that is on BitDigital. So they announced their monthly production update for December. Here's the big takeaways from it. In December 2022, the company earned 130 Bitcoins, a 10% decrease compared to the prior month. The decline in production was primarily driven by planned curtailment activities at certain hosting locations. Okay, not a big deal. Treasury holdings of BTC and Ethereum were 946.6 Bitcoins and 8,799.9 of Ethereum, with a fair market value of approximately 15.7 million and 10.5 million, respectively, at the end of December. The company had a cash and cash equivalents of 32.7 million as of December, so they still have pretty good. Then down here, miner deployments. So 35% of the company's Bitcoin mining fleet of 13,595 Bitcoins were representing 1.23 exahash was actively hashing in North America as of December 31st. So that is a decrease. So we'll take a look at why that happened. And that is it. They didn't provide very much details as to why their exahash has decreased from the prior month. So let's take a look at their numbers here really quick. And then we'll get into a DMG as well. Okay, so BitDigital right now, these are the numbers from end of yesterday. So shares outstanding is calculated by market cap divided by stock price. So they have 82.4 million shares outstanding. Stock price end of day yesterday was 78 cents. The current hash rate is 1.13 roughly. We're pretty close to that. Future hash rate is supposed to be about 2.8 or 2.7, I believe. And they're currently about 43% operational. Hash percentage growth is 130% left. I think those numbers may come down a little bit here, and we'll take a look at why. Bitcoin HODL is 946 BTC, valued at 15.8 million currently. Looking at their BTC production here, it has been coming down ever since October, in which they reached 152 Bitcoins, then in November, 144, and then 130 in December here. Their efficiency as far as BTC per exahash has been kind of up and down here. September was 104, October was 112, November was down 1 to 102. They're up a little bit here in December, which is kind of good, okay? As far as their revenues for December, I got them at about 2.2 million based on the average Bitcoin price for that month, and I probably should zoom this in for you guys. There we go. So 2.2 million is where I'm estimating they're going to be at for December. They also decreased 14.1 Bitcoins less than November. That's a decrease of 9.78%. And as far as what they sold about 133 Bitcoins for net proceeds of about 2.26 million at the average Bitcoin price for December. Looking down at their numbers here for December, down here, we can see that they only got to 1.23, I think they stated as being at. That number is, let me see. right? Do I have that right? Did I miss something here? Did I forget to update something? No, it's right. It's pulling in that data there, 1.225. Okay. So yeah, we are correct there. And the numbers or the miners that were possibly shut off, I'm surprised they didn't shut off even more miners. But here's the thinking behind it. So these 63 terahash miners right now, depending on where they are with cost of electricity and for hosting, so they rely on hosting providers for everything that they do. And depending on the cost of electricity for them and what they're being charged for the hosting, this is my mining calculator here for whatever miner we want to put in here. So right now we have this miner at 2,880 watts. These are the 63 terahash miners over here. Electricity at 7 cents, which I think is kind of on the lower end, especially for hosting. It could be higher, I don't know, or it could be a little bit lower. But you can see here that it's $16,750 with network hash rate being at 265 million. They are not currently profitable at this rate. They're losing basically $1.25 if they are mining with them. The only way they could be profitable on it is if big electricity cost was under 5 cents or less, unfortunately. I don't think that's the case. I think the miners that are mining for themselves, have their own contracts in place, are getting pretty close to that, if not a little bit lower. Some are maybe a little higher. But when you're doing hosting, I'm guessing you're going to be at 7.5 cents, somewhere around there. So they are currently not profitable. I think maybe that's why they turned them off, potentially. And they might have turned off even more of those if we look at the numbers here. Wrong sheet. No, keep forgetting. Okay, here we go. So they still have, let me see here. The ones that I still have operational are approximately, 235 petahash right now. That could have been replaced with these over here, the 200 that they have, along with possibly some of these M30s here. So these 63 terahash miners might be all unplugged and these might have gone in. We don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that's probably the case here. So we probably should update this and then plug these guys in and get rid of the partially also these, because that's pretty close to where they are right now. Because I don't think that these are currently profitable. So it would have been nice to get some more details from them as far as why their hash rate has decreased. They were at 1.4 exahash here in November. Now they're at 1.23. The only thing that makes sense is getting rid of these. So if let's do that now. I'll do that later, and I'll update the spreadsheet for my Patreon members. That way we'll get rid of these here, the 63 terahash miners, and plug these in and see if we can get the numbers to work out properly. Okay, so that's concerning there, that all these miners are going to be unplugged, possibly sold for pennies. Don't know how much you're going to be able to get for these unless you have really, really cheap electricity to be able to work on those. And then as far as institutions, I started that, but I didn't finish it. Okay, I'll get this updated as well. Well, let's take a look at it here. Let's see, that was Bit Digital. Bit Digital is right here. Institutions, let's take a look at it here. 70 institutions and 6.79 million shares. 70, so that has decreased. Shares did increase 6.79. So that actually decreased as well. And then percentage owned right now is at 8.24%. So that has also decreased a little bit here to 4%. Let's take a look at the institutions ratings for them, analyst ratings. We have one buy rating, $2 price target. Ooh, that was cut in half this time around. Let's do this really quick. We'll get that updated. $1 and then $2 for that. Okay, so that is a decrease, obviously, from the prior month. What else can I show you guys here? I think that's it for it. So they don't have too much left. I mean, if they get rid of all of these miners here, let's take a look at the numbers that we do have. What are we calculating here? 2.8. What do we have? 2.7 here. Well, that's what they said. 2.8. And let's see here. If we take out all of these miners, the 63, these over here, what are we left with here potentially? So if we have this one, that one, and these over here, they could be possibly at pretty much where they are right now, 1.23. So they're pretty much, if these don't get plugged in, they are at fully installed right now, which kind of makes sense. So, okay, that would have been a nice update to have from them. Okay, so that should be updated to possibly being fully installed here, 100% operational where they are right now, and then we'll see if they buy any miners going forward or not. So based on that information, we're using the last 3 quarters that we have information for, the current quarter that we are in right now. So that is a combined 32.2 million, 50% net income from gross revenue. We're looking at $2.93, but since they're not going to be growing much, we could dump them down to about 10 PE. That would get us to $1.96, which is kind of in line with what the analysts are looking for right now as well. And 75% net income would be at $2.83. That's if Bitcoin starts going up here substantially in the next 6 months or so. Okay. So that is it for Bit Digital. Like I said, it would have been nice to get some updates from them as far as what machines were unplugged. They stated that they have 2.7 exahash worth of machines, but they're not saying if those are going to be operational in the future or not. So I think clarification would have been nice. Sometimes these miners can be a little bit vague. They're trying to protect their butts a little bit, and the investors as well. But I think more information is always better than less. Okay, so that's it. So that's Bit Digital is a little bit concerning here, being that they are pretty much right now fully installed. If they're getting rid of the 63 terahash miners, I don't know that for sure, but that's the problem there. Okay, so if that is the case, each month they're going to be making less and less BTC because the network hash rate is going to continue to go up. Okay, so that's Bit Digital. Let's take a look at DMG really quick. So DMG provided quite a bit of update here. So first is their production update for December. So preliminary mining results, they mined 104.6 Bitcoin with 0.91 exahash realized hash rate. So they have increased that, and so has their BTC production. DMG's Bitcoin balance as of the end of December was 454 Bitcoin, which was also nice to see. And then core strategy. So we're going to get into their strategy for 2023 a little bit here, or back in 2022 and into 2023. So DMG nearly reached its Bitcoin mining computational capacity goal of 1 exahash at the end of the calendar. While we entered into 2022 financial year at about 15 petahash, we exited at about 700 petahash and nearly reached 1 exahash at the end of the calendar year. As we have received almost all of our miners' deliveries from Bitmain, we have yet to receive our final 42 petahash delivery of S19 XPs. And we plan to purchase additional miners using accumulated credits from Bitmain. We plan to provide more details about our additional purchases in the near future. So that's actually good. To accommodate space for these new miners, as our Christina Lake mine building is full, we are setting up containerized mining on the property next to our substation, which will require very modest amounts of capital for interconnection of our previously purchased transformers to our existing distribution lines, as well as for the purchase of mining containers. So that's good news there. As an update on our long-term mining goals, we still plan to implement immersion cooling, from which we expect to achieve up to 40% hash rate increase. I think that is very aggressive. I would go more for like 20-25%. At 40% hash rate, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on the machines and everything else. I'm not saying it's not doable, but you're going to have really good cooling in there to keep those machines running at that performance. However, our time frame for deployment will likely extend beyond our prior guidance for mid-calendar 2023. So now we're looking towards the end of 2023 and into 2024. So that's bad. Here's a reason for it. There's 2 reasons. First, we are slowing our rate of spending given the current environment. And second, we will be performing more extensive testing before we commit to large-scale conversion of our facility. So that makes sense there. You got to make sure you don't ruin the machines that you're buying or using right now. In addition, we have deferred our goal for 2 exahash of self-mining capacity to a time beyond the end of calendar 2023, given the current market conditions. So that's also not good news. They are slowing down. This is the time I think they should be increasing that. Miners are way down in price. Would be advantageous for them to do it right now, I think. But they got to have the infrastructure in place to put those machines into. So we'll see. Based on our expectations of slow or no Bitcoin network hash rate growth in coming months, I actually disagree with this. I think this is going to slow down as far as the network hash rate is concerned, but I don't think we're not going to see no growth. We still have a lot of miners that are getting machines in. You got Marathon, Riot, other ones as well. You got Hive, some other guys as well that are still getting machines installed, and that's going to only raise the network hash rate. And that's only a couple here out of a lot more that are still out there that I don't cover. Okay, so I don't think that's going to be the case. Assuming Bitcoin price remains around current levels, we may still be able to grow our hash rate faster than Bitcoin network over the next 12 months with very limited and highly targeted capital investments. So that would be good. They need to grow, if the Bitcoin network grows 1% a month, they need to grow at least above that to be ahead of it. Okay. Unlike other miners that have taken on extensive debt and are restructuring, DMG has only added 1 million of debt. The company may consider raising modest amounts of additional debt, which would be focused solely on accelerating the deployment of our immersion cooling infrastructure. We believe immersion will become essential for Bitcoin mining as the industry evolves. I also agree with that. I think, having the machines out in the open and just having air coming through them, you're getting a lot of dust on those things. They don't last as long. They have more problems with the chips. Immersion cooling solves a lot of that problem. No more dust. They're constantly cooled at the same temperature. It's just they last longer. So I think that's the way the industry is going to be shifting over the next possibly 5-10 years. We're going to see more and more companies doing that. So I agree with that. Let's see here. What else do we have here? And then some other thing we have is the grant of stock options. So DMG also announces it has granted 200,000 stock options to a company director. The options are exercisable for a period of 5 years at a price of 17 cents per share and will vest as 25% on each of the 6, 12, 18, and 24-month anniversaries of the granting date. So, what is that? That's basically 20% of it. So what is that? $40,000 or something like that? $34,000 right now in stock options. Not a big deal. Not that bad. Okay. We go to talk about TerraPool, and that is it. So let's take a look at their numbers here. And that is over here. So DMG, as of yesterday, was shares outstanding was 196 million based on the market cap divided by the stock price from yesterday. And they have currently 917 petahash installed. Future hash rate right now that's reported for them is basically 1 exahash. They don't have anything reported beyond that right now or being bought. Their HODL position is 454. Let me zoom this in for you guys as well. There we go. Okay. Now, as far as their BTC production is concerned, it has been growing nicely here over the last, 6 months here? Since July, pretty much. June was really good also, a month for them. It was 76, but then it dropped down because they had some issues with one of their facilities. They went down to 54, then 69, 77, 81.7, 88, 104.6. So it's nice to see a continued growth in the BTC produced while the network hash rate has been increasing. So that's a fantastic job by them. Also, BTC per exahash efficiency. They have continued to increase ever since July as well. So they were at 79.4, 89.9, 100.3, 102.7, 105.1, and 114.07. So that's good. That means they're becoming more efficient in their mining, which is something we want to see with all the miners. So they're doing a great job there, along with the BTC production. Now, that is going to stop here or cool down a little bit, I think, based on the simple fact that they are pretty much almost fully installed here. They do have a little bit of growth left, so they might be able to squeak out another good win here in January, depending on how well they mine. But after that, if they don't get any more miners in, their BTC production is going to start falling down as the network hash rate continues to increase. Okay, so something to be mindful of. Now, looking at December numbers, we can see that they mined 104 BTC. That's equivalent to about 1.77 million in revenue. That is a nice increase of 16 BTC from last month and about 18.86% increase in revenue as well. And you can see here that the revenue has been increasing, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, but it has been increasing month over month. So that's always good news there. They did sell, it looks like, well, they didn't sell anything. They reported 454 BTC in HODL position. They sold 88 Bitcoin last month. This month, it seems like they added 5.4. So either my numbers are off someplace or they might be off here on their numbers a little bit. I don't know. I'm leaning to say that maybe I'm off. I would think they would have the right numbers for it. So somewhere along here, I might have made a mistake. Okay, now as far as the December production update is concerned, it looks like they were mining for about 26.2 days during the month. And they did get 2917. The only miners that we installed were these 140 terahash XPs that are in. That got us to the 917. And what else do we install here? These 100 terahash miners as well over here. 308, 80 of those. So those were installed. That got us to the 1.79 million here, which is 1.77. So I'm off a little bit on it. I'll have to adjust that. 1.79. But it's not too bad. We're pretty close to it. And I think it could be because these probably were on for only about 20 days. There we go. 1.776, 1.772. We're pretty close to it. We could possibly drop these down to 20 as well. And what do we get to? 176, 177. So maybe 23 days or 24. Yeah, try that. 1768, 24. And then this is kind of how I do things. I just kind of put in numbers to see where they end up at, and that's really close there. So we're happy with that. Now, as far as institutions are concerned, they did decrease from 7.5 here from December to January. Shares also decreased a little bit here by about 200,000 shares from 1.9 million to 1.7, and percentage owned went down to 1.03 from 1.15. We still have the same buy ratings, one strong, one buy rating, and price targets are 74 cents. For the high, average is 61, and the low is 48 cents for them. And let me see, what do I have for them? Kind of in line with what they have it at. I have it at 78 cents to $1.17 because I give it a P of 10, and that's based on their last 3 quarters, current quarter that we are in right now. We're still waiting for Q3 numbers from them. That's why I'm back 1 month on it. Once they report their Q3 numbers, that will get updated, and then I think that's going to be pretty much the same amount that we're looking at as far as stock price, because there isn't much gains here, but that's about $800,000. So, but they have so many shares out that it's going to make a marginal difference as far as the stock price number is concerned. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at, 78 to $1.71. If they grow nicely, well, they're going to try and get double, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. So we'll keep an eye on it. Otherwise, they've done a great job here in the last 6 months growing. Efficiency hasn't been improving. BTC production has been improving, so that's really good considering that the network hash rate has been going up. So they've been doing really well. It's just they need to continue to grow. That is it. That's my only gripe for them. Other than that, and that is it. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you guys. As always, the spreadsheet is available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there for their continued support. And thank you so much for watching. Love you all. I'll see you guys in the next one.